Gays and girlies, our time has finally come. Calling all cigarettes across the internet, it is officially Gay Christmas, it's XCXmas, we have the delivery of Crash.
Let's ride.
Finally! Miss Sarah Harding, take it away.
It's about time!
Hello and welcome back to the RobPOP channel, and it is time for something that I've been waiting for since the day I created this channel. It is time to react to Charli XCX's Crash. I cannot remember the last time I anticipated an album like this. We're talking Future Nostalgia and Chromatica about 2 years ago. It is March, which is when Future Nostalgia dropped. 2 years later, I'm sat here. I cannot control my excitement. Charli, you better do it. Today, we're gonna be reacting to all 12 songs from Charli XCX's Crash, and fingers crossed she's gonna deliver. All 4 singles so far have been absolutely fantastic. Good ones, Killer, New Shapes, Iconic, Beg For You, Killed Me, Baby, Dead.
Rest in peace me, R.I.P. me, I died dead.
Honestly, I am a corpse listening to this album at this point. By the end of this, get me a coffin, bury me underground, 6 feet under, I will be gone. Get ready for the gayest, yassified reaction of your life. It's time to review Charli XCX's Crash. Let's do it! Let's get straight in. Track number 1, self-titled Crash. I actually might self-combust. This is feeling quite Charli, the album Charli, which is good. I'm glad to hear that there's still elements of a kind of hyper-pop PC music sound, but it's still infusing that 80s sound. I'm loving the vibe of this. I love the way they've managed to successfully infuse that 80s sound with A.G. Cook production. I assume it's him. This is such a great intro. I am about to crash. Love this. Love this. What an intro. Very unique intro. I'm ready. I'm ready for takeoff.
Oh my fucking god, she fucking dead.
Well, that was such a good intro. That really did give me Charli album vibes, but updated to give it that 80s feel, which we know Crash is about. I don't feel like she's doing 80s in the way that other people are. So many people have approached this kind of 80s feel with the synth pop sound, Dua Lipa, The Weeknd, etc. But Prince and Janet Jackson is something that I've been getting from a few of these songs. Laura Mavula's done songs of that ilk, but this has definitely got a more futuristic feel. Charli's really set her mark among this 80s trend to really feel like it represents her, but in a way that still feels commemorative and throwback. And what a great intro. I am hyped! Hyped! Track number 2, we're on to songs that we already know, but we're not mad about it because we love them. They're all iconic. This is New Shapes with Queen, Christine, and Caroline Polachek. Mwah. This feels like quite an outlier in the 4 songs she's released so far. This it's a real kind of cool, laid-back kind of touch rather than going all out. What you want? I ain't got it. And the girls kill it on this. This is such a good little power trio. I'm happy for Charli and Christine to work together for the end of time. I'm so glad it's a part of the album. I wasn't sure to begin with, but it's grown so much, and now it's like an essential. I love Caroline's voice. They really utilise her theatrics and gymnastics so well in this middle 8.
Yes, sis, pop off, go in.
Charli, Caroline, Chris. This song remains killer. I remember the first time I listened to it, and it was after Good Ones, and Good Ones is such like an electrifying ride for like 2 minutes and 20. This is Charli a little bit more like, I want to say laid back because it's still a very energetic song, but it does it in a different manner that doesn't feel like it's like attacking your senses. And it's such a good song, and Christine and Caroline sound great on it, and it sort of goes nicely in from Crash. We're not going in a million miles an hour, car references, but it really sets the pace nicely. I don't know if I paid New Shapes enough attention at the time, but I think it's a song that's going to age amazingly. Like 5-10 years time, I think this will still sound fresh. Okay, it's time for track number 3, already one of my favourite songs in Charli's entire discography. My favourite song of 2021, a timeless classic. It's Good Ones. Oh. This stabbing intro will never tire. This is just pop gold. 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. This reminds me of just moving to Manchester, going out with my girlies, you know who you are. This will never grow old. Like, a great pop song is a great pop song, and this is top tier. This is how to do a song of this size as well. It packs so much into its time span. What a fucking song. I don't know when this came out, September 1st, we're now March 18th. I am not tired of this in the slightest. It's still probably going to end up in my Spotify Wrapped of 2022 of my most played songs. This song is just like the adrenaline that I need. It just gives me so much serotonin, so much joy exudes from this track. I don't relate to it in any way whatsoever, but it's pop your pussy, go fucking insane, whip your head around even though I've got no hair to whip kind of bop. Charli just gets pop, doesn't she? Like, she just gets pop, and there is no finer example of that than Good Ones. Okay, track 4, a song I haven't heard yet, and I cannot wait to get onto these discoveries. Am I about to put it on constant repeat? This is constant repeat. This is a cute little intro. It's kind of atmospheric, kind of like spacey. I love when her voice hits that falsetto. I love that Charli knows how to take the pace down but not lose the excitement at all. The song is very quiet in delivery, but it's got a really like subtle beauty to it. This is the song so far that least feels like it belongs on this album, and it's giving us classic Charli, which is not a complaint. Could have had a bad girl. This is a vibe more than anything I could describe yet. This is not a banger, this is not a jam. This is a vibe. Interesting! Like, that is not what I was expecting actually. It really takes the pace down after the adrenaline rush of Good Ones and just before another adrenaline rush of Beg For You. It's like a sort of bliss sandwich that was very sort of dreamy, very atmospheric. It kind of took me away, and it really gave me like the PC music Charli, the hyperpop Charli, but not the type that goes like all out, not a click, not a vroom vroom. More of like an official from the last album. Very, very good song. I don't think this is the sort of song that jumps out at you on listen one, but it's the sort of song that when you've got your headphones in, you can really get the intricacies of. But it's got a real sort of intoxicating sparkle that really sort of warms your heart. That is a keeper. That is a keeper. Okay, we're moving back to the iconic singles now. It just doesn't stop. It's time for Beg For You with Ms. Rina Sawayama. Yet again, has not aged a bit. You know I go insane. I always find that line so weird. Who's going to the airport to like go to the bathroom? I'm loving the pacing of this album so far. It doesn't allow us to feel overwhelmed at any point. This kind of Cry For You inspired beat really transitions nicely from the previous glittering moment. Time for my favourite line of the whole track. Separated by a degree, as I didn't lose just so far out of reach. That really just hits me somehow. Rina sounds fantastic on this track. I kind of wish she was on it more, but still no complaints. I love this track to death. Love this bit. It gives the song like an extra layer just when I was hoping, oh, don't just have another breakdown, and it didn't. I love this bit. Oh, it's probably a harp, not a piano. We already know Beg For You is a classic, iconic. I will not listen to any of the naysayers who say that it's just like a poor version of Cry For You. It's a great sample of one of the best dance songs of all time. And this is probably, at this point, my favourite song of 2022 so far. Charli sounds great, Rena sounds fantastic. It's just a real feel-good tune. And I love that she's infused that kind of garage sound, not something that I associate with Charli, but it works so well. She's really giving us different levels on this album, different tastes of different sound. We've got your Janet 80s, we've got your pulsating synths with good ones, we've got some garage movements with Beg For You, we've got the glittering early noughties of Constant Repeat. There's a lot of different sounds, but infused in a way that doesn't sound jarring, and I respect that a lot. Track number 6, it's time for Move Me. Ooh, loving the production on this. Ooh, that was gorgeous. I'm really enjoying the vibe of this as well. I feel like this is the closest to a ballad we've got yet. It's all in the production for this track for me. The way it breaks down in certain parts, the way it's so like soothing and soft. It really glides over the track. I am not disappointed by this album one bit. We know that the singles have been bangers, but she's really giving us different layers of herself in this. Move Me feels like it wraps over me like a soft blanket or like a silk chiffon, as Muna would say. It's got a really calming, soothing feel to it. It's Charli's approach to a ballad of sorts, but with a production that never feels like a standard ballad. I do think it's one that'll take like more listens to grab me, but that's no bad thing. Not every song has to jump out at you from listen one. But what I did get from it was a real calming energy, a real necessary energy on a track, but I feel like it still has plenty of bangers to come. You need your peaks, you need your ebbs and flows, and Charli really treats this track with a delicacy that is really quite beautiful. I'm ready to go back to this one. Okay, it's time for track 7, the final song that I've heard in advance. Another song that I bloody adore. Baby. This song is just so slick, so sexy. Just makes me want to click and like groove. It's got another very Prince energy about it. Janet Jackson again would be a comparison I could make. When I hear this song, I instinctively want to watch a video with it because the video oozes such a charming sex appeal. Makes me feel like that bitch. I love this like twinkling production. Such a thick track. I love walking to work with this song on, and I get so into it at this part. I'ma fuck you up. Fuck yes, Charli XCX, Miss Ashtray. She just gets it. If you get it, you get it, and this song gets it.
If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, like, I honestly feel bad for you. Like, I cannot explain it. Like, I don't have the vocabulary to sit here and explain. Like, either you get the vibe or you don't get the vibe.
It's the moment. It is the moment.
Now, come on now.
I'm all over Baby at the moment and have been for the last fortnight. I'm not coming down from my Baby high. She really promised us going into this album that there were definitely Janet influences, and this is the track that I can most hear it on so far. But God, she sounds good on this sound, Miss Charli. She says that this is the sexiest song she's ever recorded, and I can buy that. Girl! So far, this album is just not disappointing in the slightest, and we're now going on to a steer of tracks that I've never heard before, which is so exciting for me. Track number 8, this is Lightning. I'm loving the vocal effect on this. It's giving me Sophie vibes. That kind of echoey emptiness. This is so good. If I've seen any criticisms about like some of these tracks feel underproduced, I feel like I've seen that online. I could not disagree more. I keep hearing little flecks in the background, and like rises and falls in the production that are really grabbing me. This is very 80s. 80s but driven through like a vaguely Sophie landscape in my brain. Oh, I did not see this coming. You cannot say any artist is doing it like Charli. I'm obsessed. This is such an interesting song. Like, it's got all the hallmarks of an amazing pop song because it's got a catchy hook, but its production and its vocal changes are taking me everywhere. Bitch. That had me grabbed the entire time. And this is why I say nobody's doing it like Charli at the moment. I'm not saying nobody else is making great pop music. There's plenty of girls out there making amazing pop music. But Charli just gets how to infuse her sound into standard pop songs. This could have just been a straight up pop banger. But there's all of these different little things that are thrown in me. You just know she sat in the studio with these producers and went, no, change this, no, change this. You can really feel and hear Charli on this track in particular. You can really feel her input, her sensibilities, her knowledge, the way she just understands music. God, this is so good. I don't know if this was intentionally meant to feel like some kind of tribute to Sophie. In my brain, I kind of took it like that, like a loving memory of her. There were a lot of vocal choices that felt inspired by Sophie to me, and we know that they were close, that I could very much imagine that that's a conscious decision. Lightning, definitely going down as probably my favourite song that I hadn't heard prior to the album yet. That is going on repeat. Okay, next up we have Every Rule. I know this came out earlier in the week. I've avoided it because I was like, I don't really want to go into the album hearing 5 out of 12 songs. I want to have more to react to. So here's Every Rule. Breaking it down. There's more slower moments on this album than I expected, but it's nice for diversification. This is another song I could definitely imagine being in like the latter half of Charli. If you've only ever listened to the singles of Charli, you wouldn't realise how good she is at a slower moment. This is nice. It's not like overly grabbing me, but it's nice. Could do with this taking a different route in the last minute. Something transcendent. It's nice. Not my favourite moment. But the production again, exquisite. Oh. Little choices that were made at the end of that song were quite beautiful. They almost took me to like a Britney ballad kind of moment. That's not my favourite track yet. Probably the first track that's not like really evoked huge emotion out of me. It's nice, it breaks down the pace a bit. It's certainly not a bad track. I just think it lacks the excitement of some Charli songs. It lacks like a real moment that grabs you, which is fine. Not every song needs to be 12 songs where I'm going, yes, and screaming and doing the most. We move. I'm still loving the album. I'm not disappointed one bit. Okay, we're moving on to track number 10 now. Loving the look of this title. It's time for Yuck. Ooh, we're getting that kind of Doja Cat style funk. This is so cool. This is giving me summer vibes. It's got a lovely like summer landscape about it. It's fun. It's free. It doesn't take itself seriously. I love that, in the background. I wish this song was a little bit longer. I feel like it's got more to go. I really liked that. I love this very like laid back disco vibe that we're getting from a lot of artists at the moment. It felt a little bit sort of like almost like Pretty Please of Dua Lipa's, kind of Kiss Me More, Doja Cat. It had that very summer ready, not going all out, but just like a nice walk amongst a field in the summer. There's like 1 or 2 clouds in the sky, the wind's slightly blowing. I'm really up in my imagination here, but that's the kind of soundscape that this song just created for me. It felt very sort of noughties. It was just simplistic in the way that it delivered its pop fun. I feel like this had a great middle 8 in it. It had at least 30 or 40 more seconds in it, and it condensed itself down to 2 minutes 18 for very little reason. It could have done more, but for what it is, I really appreciate it. I really like it. Definitely one I'm going to go back and listen to. Definitely one that's going to be a soundtrack to my summer. I'm a big Yuck fan. Okay, we're heading into the final 2 tracks of the album now. I've heard this one's a banger. I don't know much about it, but it's just the one that I keep seeing posted on Twitter. This is Used to Know Me. I hear Show Me Love immediately. Come on with the very familiar samples. I'm so here for commercial Charlie. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Give it to me! Yes! I am so basic for this, but I love this. Show Me Love will always be iconic, but I don't think this is reliant on its sample as Beg For You is. Joel Corey really changed this woman forever, right? Give us the banger, Charlie. Yes! Fuck me up, sis. Charlie purists who have joined her along the PC music road are gonna hate this. But as someone who adores Out, loves dance music, I think Charlie sounds amazing on this track. You know what? She's just having her moment. She's having her sellout moment. But for me, the reason why I don't care that she's having her sellout moment is because she's doing it so bloody well. This is the instant moment of the track. This is your hype moment. And she saved it till track 11. I'm gooped, I'm gagged, I'm living, I'm dead, I'm deceased, I'm everything of the above.
Everything and everything.
I'm out of breath. I love that one. I love that one. God, I'm basic. Okay, we're moving on to the final track, which is probably for the best while I've still got some energy left intact because I'm all a fluster. It's time for Twice. I think it's for the best that we bring down the energy. I'm liking the tempo of this, that kind of mid-tempo groove. This feels very classic Charlie. This is infectious. It's definitely a necessary pace change, but it's got that real classic feel about it. It feels like it could have been on any of her last few albums, but it also feels like it fits the branding of this album. I love that. Don't think twice about it. That hook is gonna lodge in my head. This has got such a great, cute energy about it. Cute. Ooh! We love a production switch up, especially for an outro. What a cute little outro. I think that wrapped this album up in like a pretty little bow. That's how it felt to me. Really, really enjoyed that. It was different from anything else we've heard so far. Although it still had that kind of glittering effect, I guess, that like Constant Repeat had. But it felt a lot fresher, it felt a lot cuter, a bit more fun. And a really, really nice ending to what's been like a really unique album, I feel. I have loved this album, and I feel like it's not quite how I expected it. A lot of the tracks that led us in kind of gave you the impression that this was some kind of sellout album for Charlie. I don't think it is. In fact, I think it meshes together a lot of the things that I love about her. It's got some of your darker true romance moments. It's got some of your cutesy pop moments in the likes of Yuck. It's got your robotic touches of pop too. But then it's got its honesty and it's got some of its tenderness that you definitely felt through Charlie and How I'm Feeling Now. I feel like there are little sprinkles of everything that Charlie has done throughout her career that's been thrown into this album. And to me, it doesn't really feel like a total sellout. It really feels like a uniquely Charli package. One thing that I keep thinking with this album is summer. It gives me a very summery vibe. It gives me a lovely 35-minute walk that I could really just go through every emotion. I could go through my exhilarating highs when I listen to a song like Used to Know Me, but then it will give me my lovely sort of wistful looking amongst the world around me when a song like Constant Repeat or Move Me comes on. It's got such great layers, but it feels very positive, it feels very summery, and it was a real joy to listen to for me. Oh, I just love Charli. There is no one quite like Charli. Crash is going right up there with her best albums. Let me know what you think down below. What are your highlights? Are you crashing into a Charli fantasy just like me? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you want more where this came from. I've got reaction videos coming all over the place in the future. And also hit the bell if you want notifications every time I upload a video like this. This was every bit of a ride that I wanted it to be, so thank you for joining me. I hope you're streaming Crash. Get on it now. We want Charli at #1 all over the world. I'm off to work. Used to Know Me is going on repeat in my ears because I need that adrenaline. And from me, it's goodbye.